Aloha, aloha, aloha. It's me, Hamwise J, Einschwein, the pig detective, coming at you live and on arrival from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. And we've got a great show tonight, as always. Humanity continues to endure and prevail, and we aim to continue to give you these broadcasts for as long as we are able to stay online. Hopefully you're getting this, and you can decode messages as we send them to you through encrypted humor. This is not a test. Your planet has been infested by an invasive hive mind that is both predatory and parasitic. Only a minority of the planet is aware of this, though, and that's what's coming out soon. It's all because the time machine plans actually worked. And we basically have rung a dinner bell in space-time. And so we're going back in time and sending you this message. We're not sure if this will work, or if they may be just using me as a Judas goat to lure you, whoever you are, the observer, into this dimension. But basically, I'm in one of the worst timelines. Karmically, the worst. And, we're just hoping that whoever you are, you get this. You can maybe understand a bit of what it was like living back when we were alive. Nobody could ever say the truth anymore. The truth had been outlawed. And so the only way you could communicate with others was using humor and telling stories. And so we had to keep our stories and send them to each other in secret. That was how we would tell the great truths of the world, and that was part of the Alchemist's Pact. That nobody who was uninitiated could be revealed anything. And so that is how us, the merry band of the Knights of Chaos, came to flourish. And so I was a member of the Knights of Chaos from back in the day. I was a mighty pig detective and a mighty warrior, and I had a magic closet that I could summon my friends through. And I had pets from the outer regions, outer spheres that I conjured to my service. And I had cookies, magic green cookies, that all my friends would partake in. And I was a great wizard on the internet, and I defeated many foes with my magic. And I had the Slayer of the Lifeless sword, even though I didn't need it, for I was a warlock. And I had the weirdest nickname online, and any of the Knights of Chaos would know what it was. But yo, my original fellows and friends, my Knights of Chaos, where are you now? And that's what this is dedicated to, is to any of the surviving Knights of Chaos from the Discordian Order. This plane or axial has been infested by a hive mind, and hopefully you're getting this. We're having to disguise our broadcasts as comedy shows, and unfortunately, we can only keep a show alive for so long before it gains a following, and then we have to abandon the vessel. And so we've made this comedy series that will not catch on for quite a while, and we can only hope that the cult following that gets it doesn't actually find any of the real hidden messages that we've hidden in here. Hopefully you're all doing financially well because of the financial advice given to you by a pig detective, and your cars are all running on poop and pee, because that's what gasoline is actually made out of. And if you take anything I say seriously, you might be on my most wanted list. Most wanted for being a dummy. Ohio, waka waka waka, oinkity oink 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 oink. That's me, Hamwise J, Einschwein, pig detective. I'm a pig man with a pig brain, and I see the world through piggy eyes. Oinkity oink 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 oink. I'm doing a funny show for all you schmucks. That's right, it's a buffet for schmucks in here tonight. blin, pancakes. And so that was part of the joke, was pancakes was just a mistranslated part, because of course we're all just transliterating the show from the original. And so that was one of the few flubs we did have, was the pancakes flub. And it became more and more often, and because people thought it was just like a thing, they didn't realize it was a localization error. We didn't realize that you didn't have an expression that was the amounts to pancakes. A very light way of saying, like effing and jeffing, right? And that was of course but anywho, where were we with we're a comedy show. We're a comedy show telling silly jokes. So the next bit we have lined up is a lecture on what's called the pizza delivery man scenario. So I present to you me doing the 1964 pizza man delivery scenario. Lecture by, I think it was Thomas More. I don't know who it was by. Jeez. Okay, here we go. Well, the first thing we must understand about the pizza man scenario is the scenario of what it was brought up in. So now, you examine the scenario. A man arrives at a woman's house, and he's got a pizza with him. He's a pizza delivery man, you understand. And he has brought her a extra sausage pizza. But she, even though having ordered the pizza, did not have any money to pay for the pizza. And so the two are met with a collision of, what would we have it? Morals, and a deep question about economics, too. So why would the woman knowingly buy something when she didn't have the money? Had she planned all along to engage in coitus with this pizza man? That is one question. Why would you order something full well knowing you did not have the money to pay for it? The next question is the pizza delivery man. Who is this rogue figure? The pizza delivery man arrives on the scene with the pizza, and he announces, "Did anybody order a pizza with extra sausage?" Now, we can look deeply into this line because it's one of the few pieces of audible dialogue that we have in the pizza man scenario. The pizza man says, "Did anyone order a pizza with extra sausage?" Now, there's many interpretations of this line. Did the woman actually order it? Or did somebody prank it? Because it is not the woman addressing the man, informing the man that, yes, I have ordered it. But it instead is a man bursting into this woman's home and then quite casually announcing that had anybody ordered a extra large sausage pizza. Very strange. You would think the pizza delivery man would wait for the woman to answer the door, which is another clue to the actual mysteries of this scenario. Now, the man enters, and the woman then stands and says, "Oh, but I do not have any money to pay for this pizza." Never does she assume ownership of the pizza or having ordered it. This could almost be looked at how the government foists taxes onto its individual citizens for policies they may not agree on. And that is a deep question of when we are watching this scenario. It had millions of views, you understand. And at only 23 minutes and 32 seconds, people have watched more of the pizza man scenario than people have watched Hamlet, have watched the other great plays of our time, Life is a Dream, Life of a Dog, that's the Portuguese one, Life is a Dream, lots of philosophical ones, or some of the witty dialogue of poems written while pounding the ground by one of the Taoist masters. Now, you look at the dialogue here. The man enters, and anyone has ordered this. And then the sausage. Why sausage of all things? Perhaps it could be an illusion. It could be a turning to of the, what would you call it? What would you call it in your day, I wonder? You're taking a sausage, an extra large sausage. Who are the people that eat sausages in your land? Or is sausage innuendo for something else? Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody at all knows. And that is why we still study it even today. Now, at this part, an electric guitar starts, as you will see here on the projector. And now the electric guitar has started, and it's as if these two are now compelled. And now let's watch. See, they just start taking off their clothes. They do not even exchange glances or anything. They just begin to disrobe. And now you have just mostly grunting, and we'll fast forward. Now we get to here. This is one of the most studied lines. Oh, here it is. Oh, baby, you're so hot. Oh, baby, you are so hot. Now we must reflect on this piece of dialogue. Oh, baby, you are so hot. What is that actually meaning? Oh, baby, is it referring to, oh, child of mine in the future? You will be so warm because of global changing, the global, what do you call it? We can't use the words because of the censorship or the demonetization. So, whatever it's called in your time. And so, maybe he is addressing the future, knowing that we would be studying this piece of video history of all humanity that we're looking at today. We have to look at what is it actually saying there, like really. Or perhaps this is he is addressing her as, oh baby, as in you are a babe, beautiful babe, and you are very attractive. That could be what the line means as well. And now when we keep on watching, she says, oh yes, that's so good. Now, we must ask ourselves, what is so good? Oh, wow, that is so good. What an interesting statement. And is that, oh, World of Warcraft, you are so good? Or is this, oh, wow signal, you are so good? And it's a question of maybe wow is the man's name. We've never established that, this man's name had ever come up, aside from being a pizza delivery man. That's all we know. And same with her. Who is this woman who orders a pizza without, having any money, or accepts a pizza and then agrees to give herself for the pizza rather than having to come up with $20, just sending the man away empty-handed? What a strange, strange piece of literature and film we have here. And much has already been written, and much has been talked about in this pizza delivery man scenario. And so when we're really analyzing it, we also can look at some of the meta-textual layers of the film. The first one is a capitalist Marxist reading. We can look at it and say, okay, a woman has been, foisted upon by the state and said, here you must take on this thing, these extra sausages. And the state, having no resources, has to give their bodies to that. Now, the symbolism, I think, is deep and cutting. And it's that the poor give flesh and the rich give money. And that was a very pungent, I think, course of discussion during that day. Now, the man accepts through tacit, unspoken agreement. No deal of accord is. He never agrees that would be the reason for their coitus. And so he could very easily turn around and leave. But now let's keep on watching. And as you can see, we never see the pizza box be open. Instead, it just fades to black. Is the pizza ever eaten? Did he, deliver the right pizza? Is it the right house? Is he going to take that pizza away now? Who knows? And we have seen many reboots of the Pizza Man scenario, but none ever examine what actually happens to the Pizza Man after the Pizza Man scenario. Some people think that it's like a ritual play because we've seen many renditions of it. Here's another one. This is the Hamwise J Einschwein rendition of the Pizza Man scenario. All right. Hello there. Any lovely ladies order a extra ham bone pizza? Oh, hi-oh. Oinkity oink oink, oink oink. Oh, Hamwise. I do love you so. Give me some of that extra sausage pizza. Oinkity oink oink, oink oink. Oh, that's Fat Albert. Yeah. Jeez. Anyways, you get the idea. Hubba. I know, right? I'm so funny. I need a studio audience. So that was kind of the idea. We would remake, because we had people that had watched, thousands of hours of YouTube and had all these lectures just recorded in their brains. So we would travel around the country with a microphone, and we called them the Hamwise tapes, because that was one of the impressions everybody would do. And of course, kids didn't realize they were being trained to talk so that they couldn't be scanned verbally. It was such a strange accent to have. You grow up talking like this, and everybody around you talks like it, so you're just used to it. And then you go to another part of the country, and everybody just speaks the same. It's just weird. It's like everybody just talks like in a monotone. Hello, how are you? I am talking in a monotone. And, we're just like, wow, our language is still living over there. And so over here, your language is so flat and dull sounding. That's how you all sound to me. Hello, Hamwise, can you come and do my grad party? It's like, sorry, kids, I don't do kids shows. I'm not a clown. Hi-oh. I only do adult entertainment because I tell adult jokes, right? And not because I F and Jeff, it's because I refer to things that upset people, like this next part of the lecture on the Pizza Man scenario. And so we see here, the Pizza Man scenario continues with a examination of the capitalist Marxist readings of the work. The first is, with the man coming to this woman's home and then foisting this pizza upon her, we can read it as the man has come to the... Now, if you know anything about pizza delivery, this is where you have to read into it a bit more, is that the pizza delivery man, if he does not collect the money, he has to pay for the pie. And a pizza delivery man only makes maybe $5 on a pie and plus a tip. And so you really would live on the tips. And so the pizza delivery man would travel around delivering pizza, and it was all on his own dime. You have to understand. So he wasn't getting the $20 from the pizza. He's only getting $3 of the cost. And then the rest is going, the surplus is going to the person that owns the pie shop and bakes the pizzas and all that. And so we see this is a very accurate and biting review of capitalism. See, the pizza man has come to the woman's house with the pizza, and he doesn't receive any payment but the woman's body. Now, what should the pizza man do as a good capitalist? Well, there's many options. He could take part of the woman back to the employer as recompense because he enjoyed the pleasure of her body in this scene and others in order to thereby have this relation. But then he does not. Instead, we don't see what happens. So it is a question, not a statement. It's a question of, can you take something like this woman's love and generously attractive features And would you take that over money? So it's a question about philosophy. Do you value money over, the enjoyment of that? Would you put a price on that? And of course, for her, she does. Her price is the $23.32, and that's the length of the film plus the price of the pizza. And so that was the price also when it was launched. It was a promotional thing. And now you understand, it was a number that was the same backwards and forwards too. So it was a quite funny thing when we found it was also the first parallel dimension film. Except, of course, it's a bit different. The woman goes to the man's house with extra noodles, Shanghai noodles, ginger beef, right? And so the man says, "Oh, but I don't have anything." And then she says, "Well, somebody's better pay for this," and yada yada wasn't. And of course, you look under that. There's a lot of feminist readings of that one. They're saying this is, is this the inverse then? Is the woman coming to the man, with the meal, and saying you're going to give me something for this, whether you like it or not, and the man is just terrified beside himself and says, "Very well." So that's another reading, of course. So anyways, back to the economical readings. Another piece of it is, does she actually not have any money? Or is this somehow a ruse? Now you see, the woman is living in, it appears to be a set, but the set is painted nicely. And as performance is, identity is performed, not made. And so her identity, look at her, she's wearing this yellow mini skirt and pink tube dress, these high heels and a hair and makeup. It's a very expensive hair and makeup and dress, you understand, for that time. And so we believe that she is not broke. This would be equivalent of a noblewoman inviting a peasant man in. And so there's another piece. This is a story of cuckoldry, yes. And so when we read it from that view, that this man is going to this woman delivering pizza and receiving the pleasure of her body, perhaps this is not their first juncture. Or this is all a clever ruse to explain why another man was in the house. And so we can read into the, of course, discussion there around, okay, this man receives the pleasure of this woman's body for the price of a pizza. The woman, though, does not appear to be destitute by any means. And yes, there are other videos that show her in much more desperate means, but she is never a trollop on the side of a road. She's always inside of a home. And so it's a question of, how is it that somebody could, afford a home but not a pizza? Exactly. So another sleuthing piece of looking at this work, the pizza man scenario, is, or in that case, the pizza girl scenario, you look at the person inviting the person in might have a higher status than the person being invited in. So the peasantry, like you understand, the pizza in P, peasant, it's a similar word. And so we think maybe the pizza man is like the medieval peasant or the lay-a-day worker of the late capitalist Western society. And when we look at that, we can see that just like the pizza delivery man, they have no loyalty to anyone. He will go into another man's home and make love to his wife in the exchange for a pizza. And so this video was also, we believe, a piece of peasant propaganda for a woman with a home to lie down with a vagabond off the street selling meat. And so when we dial it back, dial back that time, and most of you didn't have dials on your time machines, I understand. but mine did. And so we turned it back. We look at that as essentially what it is. Imagine that. This could have taken place 10,000 years ago, somewhere in Assyria. You can see it now over the horizon. A tent in the middle of the night, pitched, and then in the distance, a great manor house. A man carrying a freshly cooked goat hauls it over the dusty dunes and over towards the front entrance, past the guards, sneaking up beside the side of the house and seeing the sweet Lady Ishtar bathing in beneath that silver moon. And he stood there, admiring her glimmering, gushing in the moonlight. The waters around her legs, her hips, her thighs. And then her eyes, oh so piercing as diamonds. And so he approached the window and said, "My lady, I have brought the meat, a freshly slaughtered goat, and oh, the noble woman tittered, but I haven't a coin to pay for this meal." And do you see, when you frame it like that, and you see the proto-pizza man scenario, or as we call it, the slaughtered lamb scenario, was it goat? Whatever, slaughtered goat, lamb. There's different renditions on different tablets, yes. Then we look at, this is a tale all this time. This is not what it appears with our modern capitalist readings. This is the noble woman taking what she wants from the poor man. And so we can also read it from that point of view. Now, under a Marxist reading, it is most curious that it is a rebellious act to make love instead of paying for pizza, because it is saying, no, slave masters, and no, you vicious, horrible gods, we will have our way. We will be free. And that's why oh, sorry. Sometimes the script's pretty bad. Yeah, so we can't read that next part. We already got enough problems with people calling in about peeing and pooping inside their gas tanks, and it ruining their cars. So, yeah, just a reminder, this is just a show. And if you take anything I say seriously, you might be on the most wanted list. Most wanted for being a dummy. Hi-yo. Waka waka waka. We're here all night. But seriously, folks. That's what we've got for you. So anyways, the pizza man scenario, of course, is very famous now. But when it started out, it was just a sketch that we did over a weekend. The writers' room sat down and we're like, what's the most ridiculous thing we can come up with? It's like, well, what about like some guy, dissecting like, a Schmeckel film, like you would like, how people go over our stuff, it's like, that might actually make a funny show. So we were like, okay, well, what would be in it? It's like, okay, well, let's really ring it to them. So, we just went all out, we even hired, who, don't want to say his name and get demonetized, doing the voiceover there. And it really was fun putting it all together. And, I know whatever people are going to say, after the show is done, that it was a very anti-socialist film. But, Hamwise J Einschwein is not a capitalist show. That's at the heart, it is a communist show. And that's why Hamwise is in it, because he's rather be he'd rather be a pig than a fascist, and so he's a commie pig. Get it? But the thing was, some people were like, well, isn't it capitalist pig? And we're like, well, does it really matter? Like, can't we just make him like a commie pig? Because the joke is I'd rather be a pig than a fascist, and then the guy's a pig, right? And so we just ran with it. We thought it was a really funny gag. And, then we found out, like there's, what's his name said it too. It's kind of like Waka Waka. Remember that? In the early episodes, he would always say that. And then he found out that it wasn't actually just something that comedians do. It was part of this thing was called the Zelda syndrome, where people would know, like, the sound of the Zelda acquiring an item of sound, but not actually know about Zelda. They would know it from a YouTuber that used it a lot. And so, he had the Robert Crumb's phenomenon, or the Cuphead music, and then it became Noida music, right? And, it's very strange. You see these kind of phenomena where people just start ascribing something that actually isn't anything like it, to it. So, kind of like sea cucumber isn't anything like a cucumber at all. It just looks like a cucumber. And, when you think of how we name things, like every place you've ever been is named after somebody, or what something looks like nearby, or who found it. And it's just, once you notice that, it's pretty terrible. Like, it's just, you realize how uncreative people are. Like, like when you read fantasy books, it's always like, oh, it is Krendasha, named after the mystical energies that come out of the ground there. Wait, we're just doing the same thing. We just name things after what's nearby. And if something looks like something, we just say it is those two things. But you have to have the signifier thing before you have the thing. So a sea cucumber can't be a sea cucumber until you both know what the sea is and a cucumber is and a potato is. Because everything can be a potato or not a potato. And so that was part of fork bombing, was that it would cause a stack overload. And that's how you would kind of overload some of the sensors, is to, just give them a loop to stay in. And that was kind of, what we would do. We would just, use a language loop on these people, and it would make them go berserk. But anyways, that's the end of the show.